Hello everyone, welcome in. Oh, I see we have some new faces in the crowd. That's that's great. Yeah. Well, take a seat everyone. We will be beginning shortly. In this world of supernatural anomalous phenomenon, there are many different groups who are associated with such phenomena. This meeting will discuss debatably the most widespread and influential group, the SCP Foundation. The Foundation has tasked itself with the discovery, containment, and study of the anomalous. I would absolutely love to discuss origin, but that task is way too complicated and impossible that I definitely won't be able to do that in this seminar, as some records show that this organization has roots going as far back as medieval times, while others show only as recent as the First World War, existing as various minor groups before finally joining together as one complete foundation. Add in the possibility that this world we call home has possibly been reset multiple times after various catastrophic events, you're stuck with an absolute impossible timeline. So, moving on from that, let's just go straight into operations. Now, the Foundation contains anomalous items, entities, and locations in a variety of worldwide and beyond facilities. Containments can range from simply as put thing in a box and make sure someone watches it, to intense, detailed, sometimes complicated, esoteric rituals and specifications that would appear probably ridiculous to outside perspective. These containment procedures are called Special Containment Procedures, SCPs. When I discuss an SCP, I'm discussing the actual procedure, not just the item. Keep that in mind. Now, to help separate some of these different requirements, the Foundation has a unique classification system in place. There are three standard containment classes: Safe, Euclid, and Keter, as well as many other lesser-known classes. I'll give special mention to a few that are pretty important, such as Neutralized, Thaumiel, Apollyon, and Archon. Now, Safe class. This is the lowest level classification. Keep in mind, safe doesn't necessarily mean the item itself isn't dangerous, but more akin to using a description they give. If you put it in a box, you can just leave it in the box. It's not going to change. It's not going to leave out. You can really just leave it in the box for all eternity. It's fine. Good example would be SCP-1430, a staff carved from wood of a Douglas fir tree that, when held, compels you to give a speech about a topic that you feel you are academically well educated in. However, if you go about the speech for about an hour and a half, it'll begin to transition to only about Methodist Christianity. And if this continues for about 4 to 5 hours, it'll then transition to some unknown religion with very violent and perverse rituals and procedures. And I'm not a fan of this one, but whatever. It's safe. It's not going to change if you put it in a box. Next, Euclid. This next level takes up quite a large number of items in the Foundation's containment. Frequently, any sort of sentient anomaly, especially humanoids, are going to be Euclid, because Euclid items, you can put them in a box, but you need to watch them because they could change in the box. They might break out of the box. They're not necessarily super dangerous, but you do need to just keep your eye on them. A good example of this would be SCP-1111. It's a two-piece anomaly. One half of it is a man, permanently, continually hanging on a noose from a tree, constantly twitching and writhing in pain. The other half is his dog that will attack anyone who comes near it. You see, it's constantly changing. The dog will get bigger the closer you get, and no one has been able to actually get to this man, even though I think, why not just shoot the rope down? But I'm not a containment specialist, not my place. That is also one very loyal dog. Lastly, we have Keter. Pronunciation is highly debated here. Some say Keter, some say Keter. I'm just going to go for Keter. Keter class anomalies have frequently very difficult containment requirements. Generally, but not necessarily, Keter class items are the most dangerous and require constant surveillance and maintenance. Keter items can be boxed, but it's got to be a very good box. For example, SCP 2532, a set of help wanted signs that, if responded to, will generate an anomalous species that will integrate with the nearby location and fill out the job that was on the help wanted sign. Pretty handy, but understandably difficult to contain. Alright, big one's done. Do some quick snapshots of the other ones I mentioned. Neutralized, self-explanatory. The anomaly, no longer anomalous. It's been neutralized. Thaumiel anomalies help contain other anomalies. They are the box that contains the anomaly. Archon items are best left uncontained. It's not so much you can't contain them, it's if you do try to contain them, it's going to cause more damage and more chaos, so just leave them as they are, you're fine. However, Apollyon just cannot be contained. Simply put, can't be contained. See, it's not so complicated, right? Alright, I'm kind of running out of time here, so let me finish off with leadership structure. For the Foundation, the bottom class is called the D class. This source of expendable Foundation employees being used very loosely here, is shaky at best. The most well agreed upon source is the Foundation gathers these people from penitentiaries across the world. Death row inmates given a promise of a lessened sentence for their volunteer work for what, as far as they know, is just a normal research facility. These are the people they just kind of toss at anomalies, the guinea pigs, the body fodder, you know. Oh, we have a dangerous monster? Throw a D-class at it. That's the D-class. Next up, we have the MTF agents and site security. These are the armed people who you'll see with the guns going out into the field, ready to combat the anomalous, get a better read of them. You have some that specialize in underground anomalies, non-Euclidean areas. You have others who deal with the cognito hazards. I'll get into those later. These are the ones who are generally taken from militaries, they're special agents. These are the armed, battle-ready individuals of the Foundation. From alongside them, you have the researchers and the doctors. These are, of course, the brains of the group. They're the ones who study the anomalous and try to discover what about them that makes them anomalous, to try to figure out the properties. There are some, not many, but there are some items in the SCP Foundation's catalog that have been explained. They have discovered why it's anomalous and found a way to replicate it, and were able to reintegrate it into society as a normal item. No longer anomalous, no longer against status quo, but they were able to reintroduce it as something that can be seen as normal. For each site, there is a site director in charge, but above them all, it's the O5 Council, a 13-person group shrouded in mystery. Goodness guys, listen to me, finding a reliable description of this group is near to impossible, let alone finding corroborating ones. These 13 are the governing force of the Foundation, limited or policed by only 2 other entities, and that's all depending on who you ask. Some will say they're only limited by the Ethics Committee, a group who is there to ensure that the Foundation lives up to its creed as cold, not cruel. They're there to make sure that the Foundation doesn't do anything unnecessarily cruel. Sacrifice for what is needed, do evil for what is necessary, but only if it's necessary. That's the Ethics Committee. Or, if you're the ones who believe the O5 Council is only limited by the Administrator, then you believe it's only limited by a single person who is even more mysterious and shrouded in mystery than the rest of the Council. Is the Administrator real? Is it even a person anymore? No one's quite sure, but if the Administrator does exist, they exist as the one true head of the Foundation, the final step in the hierarchy. And that all depends on if they're real. But truly, even though this Foundation is widespread, powerful, and determined, it's not the most dangerous group. Sure, if you're of the anomalous community, you don't want to meet them out and about, but they're far from the most dangerous. If you meet them, they're more likely to just capture you, put you in containment, but at least you're safe. The dangerous ones, I'll get to them in a bit. But, the most staggering fact about the Foundation, you folks ready for this? Is that it's not real. In fact, none of this is real. The Foundation and quite a few other groups have determined and discovered that all of this, all of us, we're nothing but a fictional narrative, guys. None of this is real. We exist in a world brought together by a loose, hodgepodge collaboration of horror writers. Every monster that you've faced, all the terror, the loved ones that you've lost, meaningless because none of it's real. It's all fiction. In fact, this meeting here is being recorded and will probably be listened to by someone else in the higher plane of reality. One of those horror writers will probably listen to this. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? Oh, well, look at that. I have run out of time for this meeting. I sure love leaving it on that note. So, that's all for today, folks. Yeah, there's snacks in the back. And once again, if you do have a suggestion for a topic you want me to cover, the suggestion box is in the back next to the punch. And enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Bye for now.